What is going on, Sabres fans? Or should I say, people who watch the Sabres play hockey? I don't know if we have fans anymore, but what's going on to all you listeners out there? Welcome into another episode of Sabres Spotlight with your host, Matt and Ryan. Ryan, what's going on?
What's going on, guys? I'm a little depressed today. All you beautiful listeners are gonna, get through it together with us two and in your beautiful years, and we'll see what we can get through tonight.
But we're off to a hot start. We heard the feedback loud and clear. The intro music is back.
Yeah, I had personally like multiple people tell me like, "Hey, you guys got to bring back the intro music, bring back the intro music." And since we still like haven't bothered to figure out really how to just incorporate things like that, on like this just doing it automatically. We'll just stick to the 30-second YouTube video and play it before the podcast starts. So
That was a
thanks for
manual. That was a manual fade. That was a sick fade right there
yeah,
for
the
everyone listening.
fades have been honestly impeccable. Like props to you. Your fade game is unreal.
That I don't know if the intro quality is all that great. We'll have to see
Right.
how
Because I
we'll have to
mean,
see
you're
how it
playing it
sounds on
off
the
of
playback.
playing it off a YouTube video. Like it's so funny.
It matches the product on the ice. Everything with the Sabres right now is just dysfunctional as fuck. So, all right. Well, before we get into talking about that, let's get into some intros. What's going on, Ryan? What's new?
Lots of stuff. I think this might be the first time in 13 episodes where I've said lots of stuff. But
I
last week
know. Let's go.
So last weekend we went to a concert, a band that my wife and I loved, the Real Friends and Knuckle Puck, for all my pop punk friends out there. Those two put on like an incredible show. I've seen Real Friends probably I think like 7 or 8 times now, and they've been unreal every single time. So that was fun. And then some sad news. My dog is having surgery tomorrow because he's getting a mass removed from like his like gum area, like in his teeth. It's only in one spot, so they don't really know what it could be. But yeah, I guess we'll figure it out tomorrow. I mean, by the time you listen to this tomorrow, he'll be back home already, hopefully, because it's at
Did
like
you tell
7
us he was
in the
having? I know.
evening.
I knew you told us he was going to have it looked at, but I don't remember you
Yeah,
mentioning
it's
surgery.
like it's yeah, he's getting it removed tomorrow. It's supposed to be in January that he was supposed to get it removed, but like we had a scheduling conflict, and they're like, "Oh, we can push it to February," and then they're like, "Oh wait, never mind, we can do it on Thursday, the what is it tomorrow, the 21st." And we're like,
Yeah.
"Well, yeah, why we want to get it out sooner rather than later, like you would think, like because they gotta like remove it and then like test it and tell like see what it is, like."
Yeah.
Obviously, like we're doing the best possible thing for him because it's not really bothering him. I don't think. Like the only reason we really noticed it is because he was when he'd choose a hard toy, he would bleed all over the place, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? And then we saw that, and they were like, all right, we'll take it out. So,
Yeah. Better
hopefully
to
he
not
gets
mess around. Get him feeling better for the holidays.
yeah, right, exactly. And I'm off. I'm on vacation after I guess today. When you guys listen to this, I'm on vacation until after the new year, so I'll just spend his recovery, just snuggling my dog the whole time. So it'll be really nice, you
Do you
know.
take this time off every year, like the week
Yeah,
around Christmas?
yeah. I don't know how every single year I just get Christmas off. It's unbelievable.
Was Christmas on a Sunday last year? Because I feel like I remember having the day off after Christmas last year, which never happens because I never request the day off. But I feel like I remember, and I'm working this year. But
Yes, I just looked
okay,
at my calendar. Yes,
all
Christmas
right,
was all on a Sunday last year.
because I never like actually like meaningfully go in and like request that day off. But like I just remember like I don't remember working on the day after Christmas last year, so that makes sense. But
Yeah.
all right, anything else going on?
No, so just gotta take care of my pup because he's like our son, and that's about it, man. How about you?
Well, I always have lots of stuff going on.
Well,
So
duh. I mean, with your family, of course you do.
we did Christmas cookies. I don't think I mentioned that, right? We did Christmas cookies
Yeah,
last.
you didn't say anything on the podcast, but you did text me privately that you ate a whole shitload of Christmas cookies.
Oh, dude. Okay, so we're not like we don't have actually have plans to like do anything like Christmas related today. We could always kind of like riff and make it up as we go. But if I'm like gonna tier Christmas cookies, like cutouts are the number one option for me.
Okay.
And also,
Do you
quick shout out,
want?
real quick, to a patient of mine who owns a bakery and brought me in like a whole box of Christmas cutouts today because I've only seen her like a couple times. But I told her that we were talking about how she owns a bakery, and she was telling me that I was telling her that cutouts are my favorite, and like she comes in with cutouts for me, and I'm so pumped. But
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great person right there. Merry Christmas to him or her.
so we made cutouts. That was fun. I am the roller. I am the official roller. I've been rolling the dough for my wife and my mother in law's, like for that side of the family, for like as long as we've been together, which is like I think like 14 years now. And I do it for my mom as well. And then I'm not a huge fan of icing, like frosting and decorating. I just think that's a little tedious. I just pound them out, dude. Like whenever we get together, like I love the rolling. I don't know what it is about it. Like it's all about the thickness, right? So I'm trying to get that exact thickness each time, and I take pride in that, not making them too thin or not making them too chubby, so they cook just right, and they got that perfect crisp, but a little bit of chewiness as well. But the frosting, no, I'm not about that.
That's so funny because like that type of cookie I actually don't like at all.
No,
No, like and it's funny because I'll like eat frosting out of the fucking like the tin. I'll just eat that shit with a spoon. But like the cookie, no, that's not good. Maybe yours are different. Maybe you got the precise sizing mechanics,
you
to
have
make
to
it good.
try some of mine for sure. But I believe that because you're not like I think about like Christmas cookies cutouts, right? They're
Yeah.
like because you're not a condiment guy. Like you don't like
Yeah.
ketchup, like mustard. You're not
Right.
about so like think of like frosting on a cookie, like spring that those are like basically condiments on the cookie. You're
Yeah, I
not
fuck
about
with
that
those
life.
too. I fuck with those though. Those are if those somehow fall on like a dessert condiment tier, those are like I'm fucking with those.
But you don't like the cut. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like you're not
I
like
do.
the
I do.
condiment cookout,
I do. I do.
condiment
I do.
cookie cutout person. You're just like give me
Wow.
the regular
Say
cookie.
that. Say that 5 times fast. Dude, you know what cookie rules? Those sugar cookies with the Hershey's in the middle.
Oh, dude, I just had one about 30 minutes ago.
Holy shit, man. Those I can't wait. I'm gonna eat my weight in those.
Those ones are good. You also, dude, I love. They're called Mexican wedding cakes. You ever had these cookies?
Are those like the fat ones with the icing on them?
No, they're
Or am I
like
wrong?
they're like little circles. They're like basically like just like covered with powdered sugar.
Oh God, yeah, that sounds
Oh,
delicious.
yeah, they are so good. They are so good. But so anyways, we did that, and then I gotta mention this because it's absolutely like it's driving me crazy. But so there is this smell in my car that I cannot locate and it will not go away. Like I do not
No way.
this has been going on for like 4 days. It smells like sour milk or like formula, which
Oh
would make
no.
sense.
Okay. Yes, it would
But
make sense.
there's no culprit. Like I've looked up and down and I've smelled my seats and I'm like I don't understand where this scent is coming from. I was just like in my head I'm just like okay, well this is going to dissipate eventually. It's just getting worse and I'm like where I don't
Oh,
understand where this smell is coming from. It's been like 4 days now.
dude, it's in your car somewhere. It has to be.
Well, I know, but I'm thinking, oh, cold, like the cold air will like, like dehumidify my car or like get the smell out of there, whatever. And like it's just getting worse and worse. And I've
That
like looked up and down and I cannot find it.
that would fucking drive me crazy. Actually, that would probably make me sick. Like, not gonna lie, my nose. I have like the nose of like a baby. I cannot handle smells at all.
So well,
I'm
like after
honestly
like I get my car and then like after like a minute I don't notice it anymore because I'm just used to it. But like
right.
it stinks.
So what you're saying is we can't carpool anywhere in your car because it's gonna smell like bad milk.
Pretty much, it smells worse than the smell coming off of the ice at KeyBank Arena yesterday night.
I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it.
It was that bad. Which, by the way,
Oh
if
man.
you listened to last week's episode, you know I was in attendance for the Blue Jackets game, and I cannot wait to go into detail about what that arena was like and just the absolute shit show that we all witnessed. But that's pretty much it for my intro. You got any shout outs?
Not no, I don't. I don't have anything.
I got one. I got one shout
Okay.
out. It's related to the hockey game. I need to shout out. I'm just calling her Puck Lady because this poor
Okay.
lady that was in attendance, she was only a couple rows over or a couple sections over from me, but she gets pegged with a hockey puck, like a deflected puck. It comes up in the stands, and at first I didn't think anything of it. Like I saw it, and I'm like, oh, it just looks like it kind of hit the seat. I see it kind of went over her
Well,
head, but
the odds of it hitting someone in the seats because there's no one that goes to these games is pretty small.
well, that's true. That's true. But this was before the annexation. Like this was before everybody left. So
Okay.
they the puck like again. So I see it kind of go over her head, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think it hit her because I didn't see a reaction or anything like hands up or like hands on the face. It must have just been shock. So I'm sitting there. I don't think anything of it. And then Katie's like a minute later. I was like, oh, I think the puck hit that lady because there's like a medical trainer that comes down. I look over.
Jeez.
She's got a fucking ice bag on her head, and I'm like, oh, what the heck? And so the ice is funny because this like it kept building throughout the night. Like she stayed. She obviously was feeling okay enough to
What a
stay. But
warrior. Yeah.
every period I looked over, the ice like it started as like a small ice pack, and then it was just bigger and then bigger. Like they just kept bringing her more and more.
Like a cartoon.
Yeah, pretty much. But like the worst part about this was that she almost got hit again. Like this, so this happened in the first period, and then another puck, like almost the same trajectory, almost takes her out again. And I was just like, this poor lady needs to just leave because there's some bad omen around her. And there was just, I mean, honestly, the whole night was just cursed. So I should have known when that happened right away that it was going to be a long night.
Well, shout out to Puck Lady. What a warrior. Getting domed with a puck that's not fun. And she stayed too. That's crazy. Did she
I
stay
hope
after that, or did she bounce?
she stayed,
Like
dude.
after the second time?
No, she stayed till like halfway through the third. Like she was a trooper, man.
Damn. Shout out Puck Lady.
Yeah, so I mean, she's a true fan, man. Like she stayed beyond what 80% of people stayed with a likely concussion as well. So maybe that's why she couldn't really tell what was going on in the ice. It was
Yeah.
maybe we all should have got hit with the puck that night. I don't know.
Yeah. Jesus.
All right, well, let's get into we had a discussion before this show about how I mean nobody wants to talk about these fucking idiots, but we're gonna do it anyways because we committed to this, and but we don't need to go through game reviews. I mean, we win at Vegas because that's what we do. We beat good teams. Levi plays good, get some good effort for 60 minutes, then we lose to Arizona, and just like a terrible
Okay.
game.
That Arizona game, I had my work party. I got
Oh
so
yeah,
fucked up. I got so fucked up at this party. Like, to the point where like there was a time where someone was talking to me for probably 10 minutes and then I left the conversation and I was like, I have no idea what that person said. I have no idea. So that's how fucked up I was. Even in that state, we had the game on at the bar, and in this town you got to fucking beg someone to put the game on the bar because they're so bad that no one gives a shit. And multiple times I saw the team just missing the net completely. Just awful. Just could not hit the net that night. And I mean, they get shut out. So
it was terrible. I mean, they lost to Vamelka. I mean, this guy. Listen to this guy's record now. And granted, this is after a 2-0 shutout to us. So like this guy's stats now after a shutout. 3-7-2. That's right. 3-7-2. One of those three wins was against us, a shutout, with 3.2 goals against and a .899 save percentage. And you know that save percentage before was probably like a .86 or something. So this is a shitty ass goalie that's
right.
not playing good, and we failed to even score a single goal on him. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
even think if we generated many chances at all. It was terrible.
I saw like Tage hit the post, I think, but like the Vamelka was good last year, but he is obviously not off to a great start this year. Like, thank God, but Arizona's my bandwagon team, folks. I'm trying to stay up late and watch every Arizona game possible because they're fun, but yeah, we suck, so kind of need one.
But I mean, that just shows the inconsistencies there, though. Like literally, that's the same team they just beat 5-2, like
Yep.
5 games ago, and then you lose 2-0. And I know I get you're not going to win every single game, but like there is just no consistencies. Like if that's a
Like you said,
team, well, go ahead.
we pumped Vegas and played so well, and then
Yeah,
that was the effort. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and it was just frustrating. It wasn't like they played horrible in the game. Like it wasn't like some of these other like terrible games, like the Boston loss, the 5-2, like some of these other bad losses they've had. Like it wasn't terrible, but it was just a lot of the same. Just unable to score and just not creating enough offense to like truly feel dangerous at any point. A lot of perimeter shit. So just very frustrating. But
Yeah.
all right, well, let's get into what we want to talk about here. I mean, we had a whole thing planned out. We were gonna do like a Christmas like Santa theme, like, oh, what do we want? And we're like, all right, fuck that. So I'll let you take the floor first. Anything specific you wanna just kind of talk about right now with this team and what's going on. We're not even gonna go over standings because at this it's a moot point. I mean, last week we sat here and said that the playoffs were pretty much gone. I mean, now it's pretty much a sure thing. I mean, they're on pace for like 73 points, so like whatever. So yeah, just start us off. What do you anything you want to talk about before we get going?
Just as like a generality, where did my Buffalo Sabres from last year go? Like, where's the offense? What? Why did they completely change course on multiple fronts? Like, it's the same players. And I get they've had injuries, whatever. Like, okay, cool, they've had injuries. But Tage is back. Tuck is back. You know, they had Quinn in the lineup yesterday for the first time, but throughout the whole season, the thing that has pissed me off, there's been two things that have pissed me off the most throughout the entire season. And it's Granato's D pairs and the defense or the forwards not even bothering to make a clean exit and just flipping the puck out to no one in the neutral zone. That is the reason why we are in this mess. Like, I don't give a shit about defensive play. I really don't. I really
Well,
don't.
neither do they,
But
dude. We're 29th in goals against. So like, for as
cool.
much as like they've
I don't
wanted
give
to
a fuck.
harp on like defense improving, like the defense is fucking gone.
I don't give a fuck. Last year they scored a million fucking goals. They scored a million goals. Like, do that again. Just
Yeah,
like play run and gun. Like, you're not clearly the fucking effort to. I'm moving my hands everywhere. You can't see, I don't know, but I'm moving my fucking hands everywhere because I'm just getting so angry already. Just like last year, they didn't give a shit about defense and it was sick, and we had 91 points. This year, they give a shit about defense and they're generating at like the 28th best team in the league. Like, great job, guys. Like, way to just change your whole style for no reason.
yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Let me ask you this because the big thing coming into this season, I mean, everyone's talked about it. Like, obviously, Kevin Adams. We'll get to him later, I'm sure. But like, he clearly failed this team, and he was banking on. So he didn't bring in a goalie, which everyone's like, oh, let's get a goalie, which we agreed with as well. So he's banking on some combination of either Comrie, UPL working, or Levi being the guy, and then coming in. So do you think if the Sabres, theoretically, if the Sabres were playing how they were last year, scoring at a good clip, and they were rolling with Levi, let's say Levi was getting 65% of the starts and UPL was getting 35% of the starts. Just do you think that team for a whole season would get over or under 91 points?
They'd probably have like 96. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like Levi
like
is,
last
despite his inconsistencies, like he would 100% steal you at least one or two games. He's already done it this year.
right.
And sure, he's lost you a couple games, but like, I mean, that was last year. Like they lost last games last year because of goaltending too. So like, if you literally had the same team as last year, played the same style with that system or that goaltending duo, whatever, like you probably would have been okay. And I mean, sure,
Yeah.
hell, it would have been a lot more fun.
And I mean, if we're getting, UPL was horrible yesterday. I think like besides yesterday though, I mean, for the majority, I can't complain about UPL. But
Yeah,
yesterday was
no.
so funny because I'm pretty sure he allowed 3 goals before he had a save, which was fucking hysterical. But if we had this year's version of UPL and Levi with last year's system, I think we're third in the fucking division. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Exactly. Because like the goals would still be there, and even if you had scoring regression from some of your your other players like Tage and Cousins, like even if you accounted for a little bit of that, if you were still playing more creative, like who knows, maybe Benson has more goals right now. Like maybe some of these other guys who haven't contributed as much. I mean, Oposo, for crying out loud, is like our fucking fourth leading scorer. Like that's how you know it's bad, dude. Like when Oposo, like if you were playing that run and gun style, UPL plays a little bit better, which wasn't all that difficult, which he already is this season, despite what some of the more recent games, like he's been better. And Levi could have stole you a game. I mean, they could have been fine. So why change the system when you didn't change any of the players? Like you brought in Clifton and Eric Johnson, who, I mean, they're not like Cavalier signings. Like they're not gonna just like change everything.
No,
Like
they're arguably two of the worst defensemen in the NHL this year. Like, great job.
so you didn't bring. It's not like you brought in these guys that like are forcing you to change the way you play. So why would you bring back the same fucking roster, but try and fix what wasn't broken? Like just run it back if that's what you clearly wanted to do, with maybe a little upgraded goaltending.
Yeah, that's really all they like. In hindsight now, like we would have loved like making a move, but like if they just did that, I feel like we'd be fine. We'd probably be arguing that like we can't defend, which I'd honestly we're arguing that we can't defend now, and they're putting emphasis on defense. So like nothing really changed, just like the style. Like how many times yesterday I wanted to tally it, but I didn't. I didn't even bother because it was going to be too many times. How many times do you think yesterday? Um, did someone like either Darlene or like
I already know what you're
Echo
gonna say. I already know what you're gonna
like
say.
like picking the puck up? They don't even fucking pick their head up. They just flip it out of the fucking neutral
Yep.
zone
Okay,
to
that's what I thought
nobody.
you were gonna
To
say.
nobody. Like why, dude? There were multiple times, at least on TV, you were there in person and you were sitting low, so you could actually see what's like really going um, on the ice. But on TV, man, it just looks so bad. Like there was a time where Jost comes in and circles around the right side. He has it's a right-handed shot, I think, so it's Quinn on the wall, and no, the defender is not pressuring him. He could like easily break it out, and then they could turn and go. And instead, he just fucking flips the puck out, and I'm like, dude, what are we doing here? Like, why is that the instruction? And I guess like part of me struggles because a guy like a Darlene specifically should transcend the system. But if he's being taught to do this, he's gonna fucking listen to the coach. You know?
Well, so okay, so this is exactly where I thought you were going with this, and I agree totally. And you said you said so many things there that I want to elaborate on. So the first thing I want to talk about is how often that's happening. Obviously, like that is 100% being instructed, like you were saying. Like that is the system to like dump the puck because we absolutely suck at breaking out of our zone. So like they're not even attempting it anymore. Like all confidence in trying to like create a unified rush or break the zone like is gone. Like there's just not like that's an afterthought at this point. It's flip the puck down. That happened in games last season. That puck dump like that often was not happening. You'd see it 3-4 times a game. Now you see it 3-4 times like every 5 minutes. Like it's happening all the time. Like that is what's being instructed. And you look at Darlene's numbers right now. Like I kind of think in a way he almost is transcending the system. Like how can anybody in this system, like any player, score points like and actually be productive offensively? It's just
I honestly I feel like his points are empty calories at this point right now.
well, yeah, but he's honestly had some nice goals and he gets a ton of assists. But like that's what I'm saying. Like he's like a -10. Like he's and plus minus isn't the best stat I know, but like he's on the ice for a lot of goals and he makes his,
Right.
his share of mistakes. But like as far as like points go, like I mean, counting stats like they're not bad. So like if he didn't, I'll put it this way, if he didn't truly level up and is an elite player, those counting stats would be zero because of the system. But because he is that talented, like he has in a way transcended the system, although his production has taken a hit. He could be easily a point per game player or better, but everybody is being hindered by the style they're trying to play right now.
Yeah, and it even goes um like when they do that kind of thing, like they're really just banking on winning a 50-50 battle, like with the puck in the air. Like, for what reason? Like, what is the point of that? I feel like every time they do it, they're not winning that battle because like it's 50-50. Like, are you really going to win that battle like for the puck and then create an odd man rush? Like, it's not going to happen. But the downside of that is you're flipping the puck out and then the other team is just attacking right away. Like, the reason they look so bad defensively is because they're constantly defending and they don't have any possession, like, ever.
When you were watching hockey last April and May, and I don't know if the Stanley Cup playoffs extend into June. They
Yeah, they
probably
do.
do. But so when you're watching playoff hockey, let's just put it last year, is that something you were seeing in playoff
I mean,
hockey?
if you're like under siege for like yeah, you're gonna you're gonna go on, you're gonna
Yeah,
defend
but
your zone. But like,
not as like a staple of like a
yeah,
game plan.
I feel like that's like what you just said is so on point. I feel like that's like our staple. Like that's our tactic right now.
It's dump and chase, or it's either it's okay, it's dump and chase from like our fucking goal line, or dump and chase like from the neutral zone. Like
Okay,
that's literally our
we
game
gotta
plan.
if you want to transition to talk about our offensive game plan now, we can. I think I would be a little on board with instituting a more dump and chase style if they brought in more dump and chase players. Like, yes, dump and chase is great, like when it works and you have guys that are good at retrievals. We don't have that. Our best guy at retrievals is an 18-year-old forward. Like, why did we
Yeah,
go like
seriously.
I think I can name on hand like probably two guys that are willing to carry the puck through the neutral zone, and it's Tage, who's been injured, and then Darlene will do it when he's in like I fucking hate this team, I'm doing everything myself mode. The other guys, they're hitting the red line and they're just like flipping it into the corner, and then we're losing the race and we can't win the puck battle, and look at that, we're being attacked again. So I don't know, man. It's like I don't know what the staff saw to change it this drastically, but we're like 33 games in now, 32, and it hasn't worked all season.
Yeah, the dump and chase. I mean, it's not something that we're good at. Like you said, we did not bring players in that like excel in that type. I mean, if you're gonna be a good dump and chase player, you need to play physical, and you need to be willing to do that game in and game out. Honestly, the only person on our team who's willing to do that game in and game out is an 18-year-old Carney boy. Like he does, and like he gets out muscled sometimes, but like he wins a lot of
Yeah,
pucks as
because
well. Like
he's a child.
but we don't do that well. I mean, being literally like watching the game, being at the game, and I finally had good seats. I was sitting down low. I could legit see the expressions on the players' faces, which we'll talk about when I talk about that. But like a puck would be flipped in, and like you can already tell we're losing that battle. Like it's just not happening. Not to mention, did you see this last night? I could not believe it. You probably saw a couple plays last night that you couldn't believe either, but there was a play. I forget when it was. I think it was like second period, like maybe towards the end of the second period or early third. Paterka, I'm pretty sure it was Paterka, gets the puck on. It's like a one-on-one, right? And he's going up the ice with speed. We got guys behind him. The four guys behind him, they all skated to the fucking bench for a switch. Nobody went with him. Like you had I couldn't believe it. I turned the cam like, did you actually just see that? Like he had the puck and he literally is like almost on a breakaway and not one, and I get that you're tired, but like, dude, find some legs to just go for like 10 seconds. Like at least one other person just create an
Yeah,
odd man rush with him right now.
if it's a one-on-one, go create an odd man rush.
That's what dude. I could not believe it. I'll have to find the clip and try and share it with you. But like, he gets the puck, and I'm like, oh, dude, this is great. We're gonna get like a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1, and they just all skated to the bench, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I'm like, this is what we're dealing with right now.
Because they're taught to not play offense now, man. I'm telling you, this is like what they're being taught. It's really disgraceful. I want to talk about another clip because I know you watched. Shout out to the Saber Report. Great follow on Twitter. You know what they do on Twitter and YouTube has been really impressive with the videos and clips that they have. But they posted another thing that we're doing, and oh my god, it reminded me of the Dan Bylsma teams, where if we can't, if we can't, break the puck out, or like we're not flipping it, or we can't have a controlled zone exit, There was a play that they highlighted, and it happened multiple times, and it's been happening multiple times recently, like even more than usual. But this was Owen Power. The puck was like, we made
Oh
a
my
good
god!
defense.
Don't even get me started on that shit face.
We get we get the puck. The puck is like dribbling into our zone, and Owen Power's going back to get it, and you can see all three forwards jettison to the opponent's blue line and stand there, waiting for a stretch pass to tip it into the zone and go get it. The only problem with that is if you're gonna do that, you gotta have, you know, either the third forward, like gaining speed with the puck as it's getting tipped into the zone, so he can go win the battle. What they do is the old Dan Bilesma stretch pass, where all three players are standing at the blue line and no one is going to get it. Like I said, we don't have the personnel for this. We don't. It's just this is the reason why we can't play offense. Like, it's not the players. I firmly like. Yes, we can talk about how bad Owen Power is playing, and it's his second season in the NHL. This was kind of should have been like a little bit expected. But the other guys, the other guys are way better than this, man. They just are. We saw it last year.
I mean, I agree. I actually disagree. I disagree with that. I agree
Okay,
with your
okay,
I agree with your analysis of like obviously like the stretch plays and stuff like that.
yeah.
Like I mean, Don, as much as
You're
again
losing faith in.
we said this last time, like as much as I think he's a good person and good dude, like it's kind of why I've been calling for a long time for like the media to actually ask him like strategical questions because I don't think he could answer that. Like his comments, I mean, you see it everywhere. Like the comments he makes right now, they're the same. It's compete. It's we got to play with pace. The same shit we've been talking about. But like I'm convinced if the media actually asked him, like, what were your adjustments in game or like what was your thinking with this, like I don't think he'd be able to answer that, like he at least on the spot he'd have to like go home and think about it, study it, whatever, like so like his ability to like change up strategies and stuff, like I totally question that. So I agree with your point about how like we have no and any resemblance of any type of game plan, but Power, Owen Power, I'm officially naming him Owen Powerless because this dude is just I ride it for him for a long time. I mean, my son's name is Owen. Like I want Owen Power to be good, and I think he's gonna be good. He was good last year, but like I watch him, and I honestly feel like I've seen him quit in multiple games this year. Like actually quit, like questioning his effort and being at the game last night. I can again. I told you I could see the expressions on these players' faces. It was really cool actually sitting that close because it's the first time I felt like super immersed in it. Like you see how fast it is, and you're up close, and like I could see like the trepidation in his face, and just like his body language is so bad. He is a lost puppy out there. Like he right now is playing with zero confidence. He is like Darlene from the Kruger era right now. Like
Yeah, I
he's
agree.
being ruined by Don, like Darlene was with, and so there's hope for him. He's not like lost. He's the number one pick. He's gonna figure it out. But like right now, he is a major liability on the ice. Like he is not contributing in any. Was he a -5 again tonight? I mean, maybe everybody was, but like he already had one -5 game this year. I'm pretty sure he was like a -5 again last night, or even worse. I don't know. It was terrible, but like, dude, he does not want to get hit. I mean, his play behind our net is terrible. Like
Yeah, he's really bad.
his decision making, his process is very slow. He doesn't know what he wants to do with the puck. He gets scared when he has the puck. He obviously doesn't want to take a hit. I am extremely disappointed with Owen Powerless right now.
Yeah, I mean, we defended him earlier, but that's when he was like, driving offense. Now he's just too scared. I think honestly, he's in his own head. He's
Mm-hmm.
he and this goes back to when we want to touch on what Adams did or didn't do, but they don't have anyone to guide him. Like your person that's gonna guide him is a 23-year-old Rasmus Dahlin. Like Eric Johnson, I guess, is supposed to be that guy, but he's fucking terrible. Like if
Eric
you're gonna
Johnson doesn't even want to be here, dude. He wishes we left him in Colorado.
if you're gonna get like, in my opinion, and I don't know how how this would go, like over. But in my opinion, if you have some form of like authority, I feel like you also have to back it up like on the ice. And if you have lost a step, then you really can't say anything anymore. Like I get that he has experience, Eric Johnson, but he can't really show these guys anything, like at all. Like yeah, he can show them off ice stuff, but he can't guide them on the ice. Like if you're a veteran player, you should be able to like teach these guys. Like yeah, we had expectations this year, but they're all still so young, and they didn't bring in anyone to teach them like properly, like during the actual game.
Plus, you don't know like how these guys are communicating. Like Eric Johnson, like in the media and when he does interviews, like he seems like a good guy, but like who knows? I mean, he could be a total dick, or he could just be not relating to these young kids like in an effective way. That's like actually like they're actually feeling like constructive criticism from him. Like you don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but like at this point where we are, I have to believe that what Adams, like the vision Adams had for bringing in Eric Johnson, like right now he's got to be thinking that's a failure. Like, again, I don't know how he's communicating with these guys or what he's saying. But like you said, we mentioned it before about like Oposo and Cousins. Like, Oposo, like Cousins is like not going to like be like all up in arms to like hear what Oposo wants to say when it comes to like generating offense or scoring goals. Like it's just not as applicable. Like these guys are there to like, okay, teach you how to like show up early and like stay late and work hard in the
Be a
room. But like we're
professional.
not even doing that. Like they're not even putting effort on the ice. So like I have to seriously question the senior leadership that's on the team. And like you wonder like do they just not care? Like this season's already a lost cause, so like it's totally easy for them to just check out. I mean, Eric Johnson's getting 3.25. He just be like, all right, yeah, thanks Buffalo. I'll be back in Colorado in fucking 4 months, enjoying my life there with my $3 million. Like, does he really care? Like, is he really committed to the Sabres? Like, no. And Oposto,
Dude,
like, I thank for everything he's done, but like, honestly, same thing. Like, I have to question like how effective are you as a leader this year? Like, are you losing some pull in that room? Is it just because of the head coach environment? I don't know what's going on.
so I got to talk about Oposo real quick because his comments after the game really, really pissed me off. And like, we could talk about the locker room afterwards too, if you want. But let's start with
Yeah, I
Oposo.
think it's a good time to get into that.
So he was asked about the crowd boos yesterday, and his quote was, "That's 12 years for them for sure. Not all of that's on us." That's a lot of frustration, and it's understandable. As a group, we bear some of that. First of all, I have so many problems with this. Buddy, you have been here for like 9 of those 12 years. This is all on you, okay? You don't get to just fucking check out and say, oh, the fans are mad at us because we haven't made the playoffs in 12 years. You've been here since 2016, dude. Come on. And no, that all 12 years is not on you, but you weren't getting fucking booed last year when when you had 91 points. Like, yeah, your home record was
Exactly.
dog shit. Your home record was dog shit. But when you did win and you had all those fun black and red games and you were scoring 6 goals, you weren't getting fucking booed. So I cannot believe the shot that he took. I cannot believe he said that in the media. That really pissed me off. Because yeah, we're frustrated, but as someone that has been here since 2016, you should understand what we're going through as a fan base. This team is a fucking joke. And for him to say the only reason that we're booing is because we haven't made the playoffs in 12 years, buddy, you are very wrong.
Okay, here's the thing. Like, that's 100% right. And the reason it pisses me off is because like, do you really think I give a single fuck about a game as pissed off as I am that we haven't made the playoffs in so long? I do not give one iota of a fuck about what happened in 2020 or in 2019. Like it's in the past. Like we're booing you because you're losing 9-4 at home to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and because you had
Exactly.
expectations this year, which we already said last podcast, were not astronomical. Just make the fucking playoffs, which half the teams in the league do, and you were 1 point away from doing last year. So like you don't have all this pressure on you guys. Like, just go out and play almost the same way you did last year, and you'll probably meet our expectations. But like, no, like I don't care. Like, to be honest with you, like take the Bills for example. The Bills had a heartbreaking loss to Philadelphia just like 3 weeks ago. I don't give a fuck about that anymore. Like, it doesn't
I
bother me
know.
anymore.
Yeah,
Like, it's in
because
the
they're
past.
playing well.
That was 3 weeks ago, and it was football. Like football, who's
Buddy,
like
we were talking
compared
about
to
firing.
not even
We,
close.
we were talking about firing the whole fucking coaching staff and Sean McDermott because he made a 9/11 reference in a fucking in 2019. Like, and now the whole goddamn team is rallying around him, and we're playing good ball. So like, it can change on a dime. But for him to say, like you said, for him to say, it's 12 years of all this, dude. Like, no, we're booing because we're getting shellacked by a team that isn't worth its salt. Like a team that's one of the few teams that's worse than you in the standings.
It felt like it was. It felt like when Eichel came home for the first game and all the fans booed him, and afterwards he was asked about it, and he goes, well, I guess what did he say? Something along the lines of
Uh,
like, I guess they just are booing me because they miss me, right? And people were saying like, no, we're just like, we're booing you because you haven't won. Like, we just want to win. It's like winning fixes everything. Like, you won't get booed if you win, and you don't have to like. I mean, sure, it's been 12 years, so patience is thin, but like, again, we had your backs last year. Like, things started turning around this year. It's why we're booing this year, because fans felt hockey was finally back in Buffalo. I mean, hell, I did, and we're pissed off. We're pissed off that it's gone again. And when you have that taste of being so close and actually feeling, again, what was it? Meaningful games in March last year. Everyone was hyped as shit. The team played great down the stretch. They won like 6 of their last 7. They almost made it in the playoffs. Like, we had a taste of what it felt like, and it's instantly gone. It'd be like if the Bills had one good season, made the playoffs, and like that season they went to the playoffs with Andy Dalton, and then it was just gone. Like, it would piss you off. Like, and here's the thing, like, as players, you should be pissed. Like, I was at the game, and I literally said at the end of the first period, Katie got mad at me actually because I was so loud. I was trying to make sure they heard me. I was like, how many times do we have to boo you guys? I'm like, how many times until it just gets through? Like, we're not mad at like, we don't hate you as people. We hate the product on the ice. Like, and you can resent us as fans, but like, we're just fans. We're fanatics about our team, and we want our team to do good. And our team has sucked for 12 years. You finally got a glimpse of what it was like to not suck, and now we suck again, and that sucks.
yeah, yeah. What a great you worded it perfectly. But like, I generally think that there's no accountability, and there's no way for us to know this, I guess, because we don't
Well,
know
there
what goes
is.
on
There
behind the
is a
scenes.
way to know about. You want to get into the 6 guys in the locker room here?
Okay, yeah, I guess we can because I don't know. Let me make my first point. So, what feels like to me, as a fan that has watched this team for a long time, is that when they lose, they kind of just shrug their shoulders and they go, "Okay, we lost." When they get blown out, they do the same thing. When are they going to like? And they might like get up and yell at each other in the locker room. Like, I don't know if that's going on, and if it is, I mean, it's just not like not doing anything. And I guess is getting up and yelling at your teammate holding them accountable? I don't really think so. I don't really think so. I think holding your teammate accountable is, you know, telling the boys, "Hey, we got our shit pushed in last night. I want to see every fucking person moving during this practice. You're not dogging this practice." Like, I think that's real accountability. And from
Yep.
what I've seen from the guys that cover the team in the media for practice, they don't do that. Do you want to know how long their practice was today after yesterday's game? Do you want to
Can I
know how long?
guess?
Yeah,
45 minutes.
half hour. They practiced for a half hour today.
I fucking overshot it.
After that yesterday. After that shit, they practiced for a half hour. That
Well,
is
they
a
had to be
team.
exhausted, right? I mean, they put their fucking balls to the wall for 60 minutes.
that is a team that does not have a single shred of credibility in the locker room or accountability. So we can get into the six guys in the locker room thing though. So yesterday,
Well, okay, let me touch on something real quick before you do that.
okay, okay.
Because this speaks to me just from like playing sports, and I'm sure you growing up too, but like that is where as captains you say, all right guys, no, I know the coaches called the practice, but we just lost 9-4 last night. We're staying out here for another hour and doing some drills.
Yes,
Like that's where
yes,
you do that. We used to do this in high school. And this is 100% what I would do if I was coaching the Sabres right now. And I might as well fucking should be because Donnie's just useless. And I don't know shit about hockey. Like I'm just an average fan. But okay, so in high school, we had this drill. We used to finish I played basketball. We used to finish our high school basketball practices with this every time, and our team hated it. It was the worst. We would line up on the baseline, right underneath the net. One at a time, we'd go to the foul line. You'd shoot a foul shot. Again, one by one. If that person made the foul shot, couple claps, next person goes. If you're at the foul line and you miss, the entire team runs a sprint down and back until you make 2 free throws. You miss 10 free throws, and the person who's shooting is not running. So they're causing everyone else to run. You go down the line. That's the type of shit that made us better. We hated doing it, but you know what? It wasn't after someone missed 4 times, it wasn't, oh, I hate this guy. It was like, hey, come on, man, let's go. Like, you got this. Like, let's get your shit together. Like, we all got your back. We're all in this together. Like, it. That's the type of accountability. Like, those are the kinds of things. Like, do you think that's happening? I mean, this guy won't even bench a guy. Like, he won't even bench Eric Johnson. He's too much of a pussy to do that. And he's healthy scratching Ryan Johnson. Like, do you actually think they're using? I mean, that's a high school practice, a high school tactic. I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm just saying, like, when you have 6 guys in your locker room at the end of a game, they clearly, after that game, they clearly don't give a fuck. They want to just go home and go to bed.
Yeah. Part of me wonders if Oposo was like, all right, guys, like I'll take the bullet for you, which is commendable. But if I'm a guy, I'm like, no, I'll stay. Like, I will
Mm-hmm.
stay, and even if I guess like media has to ask, like make these guys available. Even if I wasn't a player that was made available, I think I would stay and just be like, I'm here to, you know, not
Yep.
maybe if you guys want to talk
Exactly.
to me, I'm still just here. Like like I can't believe there were only 6 guys. Like that really blows me away. Just after that, and it might even be a normal thing that there's that few guys in the locker room, but after that specific type of game, you'd think that if you cared, you would do something and stay and support your teammates.
You would want to, if you actually gave a fuck about your coach or you wanted to play for your coach, you'd want to stay just for the simple fact to apologize to the coach and say, hey, you know what? I heard them booing you out there all night, and I heard the fire Donnie chants. Like, I just want you to know I got your back, Don, and this was on us tonight. And like, just for the sheer fact of that, I mean, it's totally telling. When I heard that after the game, whoever it was that asked that question, I immediately was just like, wow, that says it all to me right there. And Don had no clue how to answer that question when he was asked. Like, you could see the wheels turning, and he kind of fucked up when he answered it. Like he was mumbling a lot. He was like, "Oh well, this is a tough game. It's a lot for them to process and whatnot." It's like, dude, these guys are professional athletes. They're getting paid millions of dollars. You don't think they've had tough losses in their life? They've been playing hockey for their fucking whole lives. Like,
Right.
life is a lot harder. There's a lot of worse shit that can happen in life than losing one hockey game. And I know you lost a lot, but like at the end of the day, guys, like you play a game for your career. Like you're not saving lives. You're not doing brain surgery. Like just stay and have that accountability. And when he got asked that question, he had no clue how to answer it. And he's just like, oh, well, we can fix it if you want. If you want more guys, like, we can fix that. It's like, well, Don, why is it a problem? Like, why is that a problem? Why have you let it get to this?
Right. It just goes to show, just like I don't think this coaching staff is respected, like from Don and his assistants. I mean, dude, I can't. These are the assistants we have. Like, No credibility, not a single playoff game coached between any of them. Like, what are we even doing here, man? Like, it's not a credible organization, and I don't know. I don't really have the answers because the season just seems lost. I mean, what a great year to start a Sabres podcast, and I feel like we're gonna come in here and fucking rant every single week. So I really hope that the fans like that because I mean we're getting pretty decent, like decent enough following now, and it's been really fun to interact. But man, I can't see anything but coming on here and being pissed off for the next 4 or 5 months.
It's tough, man. It's really tough right now. I mean, to be fair, you want me to go into the arena stuff now?
Yes, please talk about the arena because I know it's an absolute fucking shithole.
So it's tough. So like it's one of those things where it's like they played they played so bad. Like and everyone was so excited to get there. I was telling you how excited I was to be there, and I got to start with this. There was one good thing about this game all night, and it's these gloves. These were complimentary
Yeah, those
gloves,
those look pretty sweet.
and they're actually kind of warm. Like this was the that was the best part of the night right there. But
Are
these are
those
like,
are those texting gloves too? So you can like text on your phone?
oh heck yeah,
Nice. Wow. What Pagula? You're telling me Terry Pagula shelled out for texting gloves? Wow. I am shocked.
these are $300 gloves. If you with all the money I spent last night, I mean,
Yep.
shit. But so okay, so first thing, how I knew this was going to be a bad night. I get there, and I was like hyped for this like pre-party. Like I was like, oh, they got DJ, they got hot chocolate and crepes outside, they got like this glove stand, like it's a little mini party in the plaza. It was a joke. It was like four little like tents, basically, like little wooden sheds. And each one had like, all right, get your gloves. Here's the music here, which nobody gave a fuck about. Here's the hot chocolate and the crepes, which you just had to pay for anyways. And then they had the store out there,
No
which
way. No
yeah, which
way. You
everything
had
in
to
the
pay.
store is like $50 over anyway. So
You
oh
had
yeah,
to
the hot
pay for. You had to pay for the hot chocolate and crepes.
yeah hot cocoa was $3. There was like a special
Oh
hot cocoa
my
for 5.
god.
The
Oh my
crepes were
god.
the crepes were $10.
Are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me?
Yep. Yep. And it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, they didn't have to do anything, I guess, but like, so it's better than nothing. But I don't know, you're already not doing anything on the ice, so at least make the fan experience somewhat enjoyable. But that was already disappointing. I mentioned last week how excited I was to take a picture with the Grinch sleigh. Not fucking there, not fucking there. And I should have known. I should have known that was never ever gonna be there. Never in a million years gonna be. It said weather permitting. Like, dude, it was a great day. It was fine. It was a little chilly, but there was no snow. There was no rain. What do you mean weather permitting? Put the sleigh inside if you need to. I
Yeah.
don't understand. So the sleigh wasn't there, which was like one of the main things I was looking for. We got our posters, whatever. I mean, the posters were kind of cool, but like, so the night as itself kind of started off like kind of shitty. I'm like, all right, whatever. Let's just go to the seats. The seats were pretty dope. Again, it's my first time sitting in the hundreds, but we start off 30 seconds in. Darlene scores that goal, right? Beautiful. Like nice entry into the zone, little puck into the slot, and then he just roofs it. And we're like, all right, they're going to beat the shit out of this team. They're going to crush this goalie. The place was rocking. The place was absolutely rocking. They got the goat heads on. And then after the first, they're down 3-1. I mean, you saw the first period was the whole game was terrible. But after that goal, no energy. It's like it was just all gone. I'm not even joking, dude. The boos were continuous. It was
Really?
it was it was constant. Like you heard somebody booing at all times. Like of course we booed at the end of the first period. That's when I said my whole thing like, "Oh, how many times we have to boo you?" Like they came out and then like I mean the second period it was 7-1 at the end of the second. Like come on, dude. And yeah, people were booing the entire time. I would say by I mean, silent as a pin. Like you could hear a pin drop in that place. It was terrible. They would do the do like the Let's Go Buffalo. Nobody was saying a fucking thing. Like absolutely nobody cared about that shit. We're all just sitting there. By the second period, that's when I posted that picture on our Twitter. My entire row was empty. There was no one in it. Everyone had gone, and by that time, probably 80% of the fans were gone. The Fire Donnie chant started in the third.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
when,
you could pick up those clear on TV. They were clear.
yep, yeah, and you would think that like as a player, hearing that would really, really piss you off. You know, like you would just like take a run at guys or just like show a little like, and like honestly, they got to 7-4 and then they just let in two more goals. Like they just totally caved. But I think even more telling than that, like again, just like I've never felt that way in that arena in my entire life. Like the sheer, like the tension and the angst and thus just like the disgust that you could literally feel in the air. Like I feel like I could taste it in my mouth. It was just it was bad, dude. It was bad. Like the only people that were there were hate watching at that time. I turned to Katie and I
Yeah.
said, I want them to lose. I literally at one point when the third period started, I turned to Katie and said, I want them to lose 11-2 right now. Like I just want an absolute slacking so something changes because I know it's not gonna.
Dude,
And
first
then
I gotta interrupt you just to shout out Katie. Wow, what an amazing wife to stay there for the whole game. Holy shit. And knowing Katie, I bet she didn't complain a single time. I bet she didn't complain a single time.
that's not true. She wanted to leave.
Damn, I gave her too much credit. That's
She
funny.
wanted to
All right.
leave at the end of the second, and I was like, you know what, babe? I'm like, we bought these tickets. I'm like, we paid all this money. I'm like, I already spent like $300 on this night. We're just staying. But I mean, she
All
wanted to
right,
get home
but
to the
hey,
kids and like start bed. But I'm like, at this point, like, what's an hour? Like, we're already out.
right.
So
All right, continue. Sorry, I just wanted. That's funny.
she let it go, you know. But she was like everyone else. She just wanted to get the fuck out of there. I felt
Right.
bad. There's this young kid behind me. I don't know if it was his first Sabres game or not. But like, imagine being a young kid going to that game. It's like, what the hell? It's like it. So then like I was saying, what was even more telling than just like the actual atmosphere in the arena, which was just honestly like at points I felt like crying. I was like, this is what this organization, this team has come to. Like, this is not what I remember from when I was younger or last year. Like, it was sad. It was honestly sad. But the worst part was being that close and being able to see like the players' faces. Like, you could just tell after each goal. I mean, you see it on TV, like the body language and whatnot after each goal, but they legit just quit. And like the looks on their faces, and again, it was just like they couldn't wait for that horn to sound so they could leave. And that's exactly what they did apparently, because there was only 6 of them left. But it was like there was no will, there was no grit to try and grind back. The faces of everybody was just defeated. I even saw Benson in the third just not looking like he gave a fuck anymore. And like if you're already spoiling like what this kid views the NHL and what this franchise as like that young, like he's already having that. I'm not saying that's going to be the case. I'm just saying like that night, like I saw it even in him, the one dude who's been good all year and has shown 100% effort and energy all the time. It was just terrible. It was just seething through the fans onto the ice, and they didn't care at all.
Unbelievable, man. I mean, what else do we even say at this point? I mean, what's going to happen the rest of the year? I mean, do you think if it goes any longer like this that they're actually going to fire the coach?
Dude, can you? I posted this on our Twitter. They thought yesterday was embarrassing. Do you know Thursday tomorrow when they play Toronto? It's gonna be a home game for the Maple Leafs.
Oh, I'm guessing that there's going to be a full house, but it's going to be like 14,000 Toronto fans.
Yeah, that is gonna be even more embarrassing. If that as a Saber doesn't make you just pissed off, like, and I honestly think like half the team at this point is just like, I'm not playing here long term. Like, I honestly don't care anymore. Like, I think
They
that's where
have
we're
to.
at with a lot of
They're
these
all
guys.
signed to fucking. They're all signed to like 7 and 8 year deals, so they kind of have to.
Well, those guys, yeah, but like, I mean, you're Jose, like you're
I don't give a
Olafson,
fuck about
like,
him. Don't give a
yeah,
fuck
I
about
know,
him
but
either.
like, but half your team is not signed long term, and like, I know there's like turnover, and you got guys coming up and whatnot, but like, for this season specifically, like I'm pretty sure half your team is checked out and doesn't give a fuck anymore. Like they
Right.
half your team now, and probably half of like the actual half that should give a shit. So I'm gonna say 2/3 of your team right now for the rest of this season, they don't give a fuck. They honestly don't care. Like they came into this season like last year. There was all the bullshit about well, it was true, but it was like, oh, like we feel the fans coming back. We're excited. We've reinvigorated. We want to win the fans back. Like that's gone. That is gone.
Yep.
And tomorrow is gonna be a bloodbath, and they're gonna get absolutely decimated by the Maple Leafs. And every time Toronto scores, they're gonna hear that place as loud as it's been all season, but cheering for Toronto.
Yep. I agree. And how sad. I don't even know. Just like it makes me sad just even sitting here talking about it. Like thinking about the younger generation. Like last year, they finally caught like their first glimpse of hockey that was fun, and now it's just like, well, we're bad again, so we might as well just go like, let's go watch a different team. There's gonna be no child Sabres fans around anymore. Like there's really just no hope, at least for this season. I mean, until they get rid of the whole staff, in my opinion. But we'll see.
I don't get. I don't. It's so tough, man. Because like you look at like the Bills, and like as much as we give Sean McDermott shit, every time that the Bills are backed into a corner or have their backs against the wall, they dominate people. Like they find a way to get inspired, both as players and the coaches find a way to do the inspiring. Do you think that's happening with the Sabres? Like,
No, I don't.
I don't think that's happening whatsoever. Like, again, like the staff around Don, they're clueless. Don has no help, and could he be better with some help? I actually think he could be, but he's not. He's just not. He's just not cutting it. I mean, in that ability to inspire is just. I don't believe it's there. I don't believe that it's there at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think the players have tuned him out. Honestly, just
Mm-hmm.
why else would? Like, what did I think Tage was like, oh, Tage has some pissy press conferences. They're actually pretty funny. But he
Oh,
was
dude, I've
like,
been telling you I hate Tages all year. But go ahead, go ahead.
he's he was like, oh, Donnie can write the system on the board. We just have to go and execute it. Yeah, but the system is so shitty. Come on, let's be real.
Tage's interviews are so annoying. I remember after like game 5 or game 6, whatever, they were like 1-5 already, and like he was like eye rolling in the press. It was like one of the first conferences I watched or first pressers of the season. He's like, oh, like we just it's a long season, it's a long way to go. Like let's not overreact. And I remember saying on this show at the time, like, listen, like you missed the playoffs by 1 point last year. That could be this slow start. Like every game counts. There's 82, but every single point counts. Every single game counts. And every time he talks to the media, I appreciate the fact that he does it because especially after a game like that, it takes some balls to talk. And I think he did a fine job as much as he annoys me sometimes. But like every time he talks to the media, he just looks annoyed.
I
And
know he hates it. It's funny.
it's like you probably are annoyed, but like if you're annoyed in the media, like you're doing that same shit in the locker room.
Yeah.
Like how you are in the media is how you are in the locker room. Like if you come out after the game and you say, you know what, we played like shit and we got to do this and this, and I don't even care if you call people out. Like call out your teammates. Like say like, oh, this what happened. This happened. Like that shows me that like, you know what, if he's doing this here and he has a confidence to say this, for damn sure he's telling his teammates. Like, I don't
So
think any of that's happening.
did you happen to see what? So Colorado lost last night, and they haven't had a too hot of a start of like a 30 games. Like they're good, but they're not like Colorado good. Did you see what Devon Taves said last night after their loss
No.
at all? He said
That's something I
we got
want
a
to take
lot.
to say or a posto to say.
We got a lot of we got a lot of guys in here who think they're better than they really are.
I mean, fuck, dude. I would have loved that quote to be Tage or
I know, I know, I know, I know. What a fucking quote from Devin Taves. That's unbelievable. That's great.
And Eric Johnson's supposed to be that guy.
Yep. Guaranteed he's not. I can tell you that he's not.
Who knows if he was even there? He might have been one of those players that left. Like I said, he could be checked
Yeah.
out. I don't know. But like he was supposed to. Okay, Kevin Adams supposedly brought him in to do that. Like I want more of that. And like if they're not getting it, make a trade. Make a trade. We were talking about okay, trade Samuelson, trade a couple guys to wake people the fuck up. They're like, hey, you know what? We're not just here as passengers. Like I don't I don't understand, man. I don't understand where it's come to. But that quote is awesome, man, and that's why these other organizations win and we lose. We don't have that,
Yeah. I really don't know how much more we could talk. I feel like we hit all the bases.
dude. I could talk forever. I got a couple things. I got a couple other things that I want to talk about that aren't like really
Okay.
bitching things, but just a couple like things I want to talk about.
Let's get to him because I'm pretty much done talking about this team. I'm over it.
Do we want to do a look ahead?
Who do we play next? Play Toronto and who else?
Let's see. Let's look real quick to see. I
Oh,
just want to see
Toronto.
how many games we have so I can see how many losses we're gonna have before we
It's
talk again.
it's Toronto and then it's the stretch that I talked about last week, starting with Columbus on the 26th.
All right, so our
Oh yeah,
next
Toronto
three
Rangers.
games, Toronto, Rangers, Boston. So that'll be another few
Okay.
losses.
Oh my fucking god. No, they'll beat those teams for some. No, never mind. You know what? They'll win tomorrow. They'll lose and then they'll win again because that's what they'll do. No, they'll lose twice in a row. That's what they'll do.
Before okay, dude, we gotta talk about one thing before I get into these couple things because we'll end on somewhat of a better note and just less
Okay.
bitching and less complaining. Although, like I said, I could bitch about this team just like all day. I don't really care, but
All right.
they deserve it all. But we gotta talk a little bit about Kevin Adams. Like we've grilled Donnie a lot on this podcast, but like we have to talk about the absolute failure that. And I know we've kind of brought it up, but I
Okay.
do think we need to just kind of like as much as Donnie's on the hot seat, like Adams
Oh,
is.
this is Adam's fault. I mean, this whole thing is his. It starts from the top down. It's his fault. Didn't bring in any veteran forwards. Didn't bring in any defensemen that were like worth their salt. He brought in two of the worst defensemen in the whole NHL right now. At least like in metrics, they're terrible. They're both terrible. Didn't bring in a goalie, and then does this fucking interview with Mike Harrington a couple days ago where, he talks about how Dylan Cousins said the team was soft after they lost to Philly. And Kevin Adams was like, "Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that quote." Because, dude, what do you mean you don't like that fucking quote? The guy, one of your players, one of your future stars, one of your 30 goal scorers said your team is soft. Like, that is a direct shot at him. And for him to answer that the way he did, that was like, "Oh, I don't like that." Dude, fuck you. Like, come on, man. Like, are you arrogant? Like, you don't like you. This is the team that you built.
It's because he's soft as well, so he felt like it was personal.
Yeah, that's what it felt. That's what that quote kind of felt like to me. That like he thought that was like a shot at him.
Yeah, I mean, because like you said, like this is the roster that he's built, and Cousins is in the media critiquing it, which I respect. We're calling for more of that. Like, if you're not seeing what you need from people, like you need to call people out. That is any business. Like you could be an accountant. And if like the person in the cubicle next to you is like not doing their job, so you're getting bitched at or you're doing double the work, like you need to go to your manager and say, hey, this guy's slacking. Like I'm not doing double web reports or whatever the fuck accountants do. I don't even know. But it's just like it's the way life works. Like so, I mean, Adams, yeah, I mean, obviously he failed the team. We talked about that, but like it's this carousel of like, ooh, let's call up this guy and see what he can do. But like we're gonna call him up for like one game and then send him back down. Like Rosine finally has a good game and then like,
He
okay,
was
go back
playing
down.
so well. He started playing so well, and then he goes back down.
It's just I mean, I told you this like, and we talked about this like episode 2 of what I thought about Adams, and that I think he's just viewed as like a joke by the league, and like he's not able to get deals done because nobody takes him serious, and he obviously has some communication flaws and whatnot. But like I stand by that. I think that's why we haven't been able to get any deals done. It's like you can just sign a couple guys to like 1 or 2 year deals, whatever it is. You don't need to sign these guys for long term, but like go out and make some sort of deal, or like be able to identify just like your roster construction is appalling. Like identify what you have and get skill sets that you don't have. Like you have the same archetype of player. And if that's how you want to play, like you want to play with speed, you want to play with pace, you want to be a high flying offense, we are none of those. We do
Yep.
not play that. So like if that's the type of player you're going for and you're going for these skill sets and that's all we have in Rochester again is this same archetype of player essentially, at least from a forward perspective, like it's any of those guys that get called up, it's the same. They're going to want to play the same, but that's not how you're teaching it. You're teaching this defensive system, so there's clearly a disconnect between general manager building and what we want to do. And if you started to build your roster in one way and then you had this philosophical change, well, that's stupid because you didn't build your roster that way. So why are you trying to
Right.
force? It's like trying to force a square peg into a round hole. Like it's not gonna fit.
Right.
I mean, Adams, yeah, he's just he 100% filled the team. But
Yeah. We can agree there. Before Christmas.
he
What
doesn't
else you
talk
got?
to them. He doesn't talk to the media enough.
No, I know.
All
He
right,
really
so
doesn't.
I
Like he did this little interview, but like he doesn't make public comments often.
I guess none of them do, but like he's just hiding in his box. I don't know. I wanted to again. We'll kind of end on a lighter note here. We kind of aired out everything that we need to, but I just kind of wanted to get a feel for what you thought about Quinn in his first game back. Like I'm sure you
Yeah,
probably
looked
watched him
okay.
a little bit. Like what did you think of Quinn?
Looked okay. Looks like he's gonna get up to speed hopefully soon here, but it didn't. Looked a little confident. He carried the puck a couple times, had a couple shots, so he looked okay. I'm happy to get him back. I'm just happy to see him out there.
Yeah, it is nice to have him back. It was cool. Like so, like it's kind of funny because like being at the game, I like the game was already a lost cause. So for a lot of like the second half, I just kind of made it my goal to like just watch Quinn when he was out on his shifts because I was like, oh, let me just kind of see how like we're not winning this game, we're playing like shit. I just kind of want to see
Right.
how like Quinn's playing, and like you could tell like the foot speed like wasn't there. Like it's like and same thing with like the endurance. Like his shifts were very short, and it was kind of like short versus skating, and then kind of easing off. Like I'm sure he was probably instructed to like kind of ease into it and whatnot. But I was happy. I liked that like he took a couple hits and he gave a couple hits. Like he didn't seem afraid of contact, which was nice. And he had a couple shots, and so again it was kind of one of those games for him where like if the play came to him he engaged in it, but he wasn't doing a whole lot like kind of off the puck and whatnot because I'm sure he's just kind of ramping up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the foot speed and things will obviously come as he goes, and the endurance will build as well. But it's just nice to have him back, like you said. I mean, at this point, like any positive thing is a good thing. So
Right. Yeah. Just give me like one glimmer of hope.
yeah,
Seeing Jack
yeah,
Quinn play hockey is fun, and I want to see him on the ice.
yeah, absolutely. The only other thing that oh, dude, and I was disappointed. I was hoping like I guess maybe fans don't like look at it like this, but like I was really kind of hoping that like they do something for him like his first game back, like give him like an intro or something, or even put him in the starting lineup, like something to like kind of like get the place going. Like, hey, Jack Quinn's back. Like
Did they not do like a welcome back Jack on the video board?
nothing, dude. They did
Get the
nothing.
fuck out of here, really? I'm surprised at that, honestly.
Yeah, nothing. And I was like ready for it. I was so disappointed when we didn't get it, and I was like, yeah, it's just like that
Probably
would
because
have
we were
been a
getting shit on.
yeah, but dude, like that's a missed opportunity. Like if you want to get that place going, like as a not even like a coach or a GM, like as just like a person and that's around the team, I would have been like, dude, like this guy hasn't played a game in 6 months. Fans are clamoring to get him back. Like do a little snippet of him coming back and like
Right.
get
I
that
can't believe
plays
that.
going, dude.
I'm actually shocked they didn't do that.
Yeah, they didn't do anything, and I was kind of hoping that like when he came out for his first shift, that like the like people would clap, and like there was a few of us who did, but like unless you're looking for that and like a really like a hockey freak, maybe you wouldn't have noticed, you know, like so I guess I get that, but
Yeah, because there are
um,
no diehards anymore because like this team sucks. So like, why
yeah,
even bother?
yeah, exactly. So, um, but yeah, good to have him back. Good to have him back. The only other thing I want to talk about because we heard it on the Chad's podcast, Expected Buffalo, they kind of alluded to Tage's injury being, we weren't sure what it is, but they talked about it being more of a thumb, like ligament injury, right? Isn't that what they said?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I just wanted to provide kind of like a little bit more perspective on that, just from like kind of like the PT world. So like, I, it's tough because ligaments are harder to heal than like a bone. Like I told you, I actually would have preferred if it was like more of like a bony injury because bones just heal better and quicker because there's a better blood supply there. But if you think about like, and this is an exercise, if you're at home you can do this, but like the thumb is more like fine motor stuff, right? Like your power comes from your pinky side, like your pinky and your index. So like if you make a fist right now, like the power, you can feel the squeeze coming from where do you feel that?
Definitely like the pinky side.
That's what I'm saying. So like, okay, so your power grip is your pinky and your ring. Like all your power comes from this side. That's kind of a misconception. Like most people think like your power comes from like your thumb. That's not really like the case. So like as far as like mechanically what that's going to affect for him out on the ice, like he should still have a pretty good grip, which I think we've seen. Like his shot speed has
Yeah,
been like
yeah.
pretty
It's
darn
good. It's
high.
fine.
You know, so like that tells me, okay, like he's fine with his power grip. Like you mentioned to me too, like as far as the thumb goes, again, that's more of the fine motor stuff. So like I would anticipate, which again I think also matches with what we're seeing on the ice, more of that stick handling is gonna be more of the issue, where he's kind of like trying to manipulate his hands a little bit more precisely, manipulate the puck, and that's when you're going to be pulling on that ligament and really needs to kind of stabilize the bones. So more of those types of movements and stresses on that tissue are going to be more painful for him, and of course more hindered, which I think correlates to what we're seeing on the ice right now.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just glad he's back on the ice. Honestly,
Yeah,
giving it a go.
yeah,
He
it's
looks
nice,
pretty good.
dude. I don't know, man. I think he looks bad. I mean, he can shoot and he shoot and he scores and his speed's obviously fine
Well,
and he doesn't.
he's
But
like he's a product of every other player. I mean, he's not a jump and chase guy. He's a carry the puck to the neutral zone guy. He's like our best guy at it. And if he's not allowed to do it, then he's going to be less effective. So that's his skill set. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, it just goes along with everybody else on the team that literally everybody has just regressed. So
now I'm sad. I'm going to go to bed sad.
all right, we should end it there. Or do we want to get into the Amherst at all? The Amherst, dude, the Amherst aren't much
They're on a
better.
slide too. They're not worth talking about right now. It's
Yeah,
nice. We can just touch on Corey. What the fuck am I saying? Yuri Kulich is going to go to the World Junior and represent Czechia. I think Yuri Kulich is so good that I think he's going to single-handedly push Czechia to a medal with bronze, silver, gold. So good for that'll be fun to watch him rip it up against if he's scoring goals at the pace he's scoring in the AHL, he's gonna destroy this under 20 tournament. It's gonna be fantastic. But the Amherst themselves, I mean, they are playing terribly too, so we might as well just leave them be for now.
yeah. Somehow they're still like floating in fourth, but I mean to be fair, that's our only hopes at like playoff hockey again this year in Buffalo is
I
if
know
the
it was
Amherst
fun.
make it.
It was
So,
fun to follow them last year. It was a lot of fun.
yeah, so hopefully they can turn it around. But here's just a quick question before we wrap it up. Like if Don is fired at all, are we assuming Appert gets the job?
No, I will not. I will not accept that. That's unacceptable to me. If Dominato is fired, there's so many fucking names out there right now. You got Bruce Boudreau. He's a running gun guy. Actually, when Bruce Boudreau was at the peak of his powers coaching in Washington, his teams
The
were
peak of
known.
his powers.
His t- his teams were known for scoring a shitload of goals and just not defending. Like every year they would run into the Penguins in the second round and they would get decimated because they couldn't defend.
That's
I
how
don't
that.
even
That's how
care.
the Amherst are, though. They
That
score.
I don't even care. I don't even care. Just bring that guy in. It'd be a lot of fun. There's him, Jay Woodcroft, who I thought did a great job for Edmonton until his
Yep.
goalies like
Yep.
forgot how to stop pucks. That's the only reason he was fired. If you look at the beginning of the year, Edmonton's metrics, they were like first or second in every single offensive metric. They were just losing games because their goalies could not stop the puck at all. That's the only reason he got fired. And then, oh look, again, once they started getting saves, Edmonton is suddenly in the playoffs again. It's so funny. There's him. Fuck man, what happened if Mike Sullivan, like Pittsburgh fires Mike Sullivan? That's a guy I'd want to go after. Or like if
Boudreaux.
Carolina fired,
You mentioned
yeah, just
Boudreaux.
yeah, and then I wanted, or like if Carolina ever fired Rod Brindamore, that's probably the guy that we go
Oh,
after
I
the hardest.
love Rod the Bod.
We'd probably go after him the hardest because of his connection with us before. How he, when we hired Granado, we actually interviewed him, and
Yeah, he said he didn't want to come here.
he said, well, no, he said he wanted to come here. He said that that team went in a different direction.
Yeah.
It was either when we hired Granado or Kruger because he did an interview on Chicklets saying that like he interviewed for he said specifically, I interviewed for a team that hasn't been good for a long time, and they went in a different direction. I don't know if that was the Kruger hiring or how long Brendan Moore's been in Carolina.
So then he went to Carolina and took it personally, and now he just kicks the shit out of us every time he plays us.
But that's a guy I'd want to go after, and I could see him being available soon because they're not playing well. But I don't know, man. There's going to be options. You can't just roll
Berube.
out Snapper. Yeah, Berube too. Yeah, he just got fired. Or there's a lot of guys out there, man. It will be completely unacceptable to me if they fire Granado and just replace him with an interim guy.
Here's the big question before we wrap up. Do you think they actually do fire Granado?
I want to say yeah. I want to say they do. I I know it's against all expectations that they're not going to, but it's just it's so bad and it's starting to get toxic. And when it starts to get toxic, it usually ends quickly.
Dude, I don't think they're gonna. I think Granado is here for the year. And I think Kevin Adams has skittle sized balls and he's 100% not going to do it. Just like they can't bench Eric Johnson because they probably promised him ice time. I don't know. I just have this feeling that they're not gonna do it. They might start beating up on these bad teams and their softs. Dude, I don't know. We thought that was a thing. I can't even say that's a thing anymore now. I don't know.
Oh my god.
But I don't think it's gonna. Okay, so you're saying yes. I'm saying no. That's what we're
Okay,
doing.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see
I
how the
want
rest
it
of
to happen.
the
Everyone knows
season
I
goes.
want it to happen. But predictively,
Well,
I'll say no.
well, we could just let's wrap it up by just saying, go Bills. Hopefully the Bills don't ruin Christmas.
Hell
Thankfully they
yeah,
don't ruin
dude. The
Christmas.
Bills are the Bills are good. The Bills are good.
Fuck, man. Now I'm
Do we
sad. I'm gonna go cry. I'm gonna go cry.
do we want to just end on a little like Christmas note here?
Sure.
Favorite Christmas song?
Holy fuck, that's a loaded question. I don't know. I have no idea.
Dude, it's gotta
Ever
be.
since ever since I heard that, ever since I read the lyrics to "Baby It's Cold Outside," you know, the most rapey song ever. You ever listen? You ever look at the lyrics? It's a rape song. It's so fucked up. So I haven't trusted Christmas music after that.
I thought for sure you would have answered right away. Christmas Tree Farm.
I mean, by Taylor Swift, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
obviously the goat song, but I don't know. It has to be like "All I Want for Christmas Is You" by like Mariah Carey. Like that's like the number one song. That's not all time.
My Christmas song is Ed Sheeran and Elton John. I think it's just called Merry Christmas.
That's hilarious.
This
No,
fucking
oh,
song is so good.
you know, the Justin Bieber Christmas album from like 2012. That shit is really good. You got to give that a listen.
You you know Mistletoe is the go-to.
Yeah, banger song. But let's wrap it up. We're getting out of hand here. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I'm yawning every 5 minutes. I'm sad now. I'm gonna go cry. My wife's gonna turn over tonight in bed at 2:30 in the morning, and I'm sobbing in my pillow because the Buffalo Sabres are terrible. So let's just wrap this up.
All right, folks, you know what that means. It is time for the closeouts, and as the banner says, follow us. You already know at Sabres Spotlight on Twitter, on X. If the Sabres win a few games before next time, maybe we'll bring the loose leaf back. Who knows? But that's where you that's where you can find us. You know what? If we're all gonna suffer this year, we might as well suffer together. Come on over. We're all talking, having a good time over on Twitter there. Again, that's at Saber Spotlight. Ryan, go ahead and plug your Twitter here.
It's at RMC1492. You can find all my press posts there about the Sabres and follow the account, like Matt said, at Saber Spotlight. Matt runs the account, doing a great job. Got to give him props for that.
Yeah, I pretty much
But I
tweet.
got,
I mean, I
I got,
have my personal Twitter, but I'm not even going to say it
yeah.
anymore. You
Your
can
the
find it
Saber
on Twitter.
Spotlight is your Twitter. Saber Spotlight
Yeah,
is your Twitter.
yeah, pretty
And
much.
now I am going to go in a depression sleep.
All right, and if you are listening, obviously make sure you follow, subscribe, all this stuff. Watch us on YouTube if you want. I want I'm setting a goal. I want one fan email between now and next show. Hit us with a question. We'll get to it on the show. It could be anything. It could be absolutely anything. But now is the time, and maybe we'll have a surprise for that listener. I just want one. So we'll see what happens here. But send us an email. The email is on the show notes on Twitter. But let's get some fan emails here if you're listening. So, all right, folks, that's gonna do it for us here. I'm assuming we're both predicting 0 points between now and
Oh,
next show.
I'm predicting 0 points for the rest of the season,
All right, so you're on the
which is
0 point right
completely
now.
just completely absurd. But it's not even worth picking them to win a game right now.
All right, folks, that's gonna do it. We'll see you next week.
Bye.